Hey everybody, welcome to Rumble and Breaks. It's Race Sundays, and today we're in Japan. So quick recap of the race. It was a very wet race. Had like highlights of Spa. I know that's remnants of Spa for a while.
Yeah, if you got up very early to watch this race from anywhere other than Asia, man, you were in for a long wait for the start of the race.
Very brave. I mean, the race had it was 3 laps, 15 minutes into the race, and they red flagged it.
Yeah. Red flagged it, then they waited for 2+ hours. Didn't look like they might not even get a race underway at all, and they managed to get back out on intermediates, and then the rules kicked in of basically the clock is the clock. You have 3 hours, and they have to finish however many laps they can in 3 hours. So with all that time that had gone, it was about 45-minute race. And in total, 15 before, 30 when they got going, and then it was just however many laps they could get in.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because on F1 TV, you had Japan race in 30. I mean, the whole race was 45 minutes long.
I know. The entire race could have been in the highlights of the 30 minutes on F1 TV. But anyways, some interesting things. Let's talk. So first, who made it through the race? So not as much carnage as last week. Basically, it was just Albon and Sainz that went out very early on, and everybody else managed to finish the race. But a lot of chaos. What tires do you pick? They all started on inners, then they went to wets, and they went back to inners, and so it was a little bit.
Hey, at least the wets got to stay in the sun. I mean, last week everyone was just complaining why is there no wet tires? Why doesn't that make an appearance? And lo and behold, they actually started a race from where they're at. They actually started a race.
Yeah, so. They did. So so let's talk about who won the top 3.
All right, so top 3 in third, and I did it this way on purpose, is that we had Perez, and then we had Leclerc, but there was a penalty in the very last minute of the race where Leclerc, I guess. Perez was
they were racing close. Tight. Perez was trying to catch Leclerc, and Leclerc lost control a little bit. Not like a big slide, but just enough that he had to go across the AstroTurf on the side of the track, and he'd rejoin in front of Perez. So normally they would make him give the position back, but that was the last lap of the race, so it was decided afterwards. And so Perez ended up moving to second because Leclerc got a 5-second penalty.
So we're swapping these two, and it's that way. So and
why does this matter?
Why does it matter? Well, basically that's the result. The result of that was Verstappen actually becomes the world champion in this case.
Lots of confusion on that too. So if you happen to watch the highlights or the interview after the race with immediately after the race. He's doing his interview. He's won the race, has not won World Championship because he didn't know about the switch between Perez and Leclerc. And then they call him back in and like, oh, wait a second, come back here and tell him he's World Champion. And then even still, he didn't know. He kept asking people. He was asking Jenson Button later on before they went up on the podium. Did I win or not?
So, I thought it was interesting. They even brought into this little gaudy throne room, I guess.
Throne room. Yeah, that was very weird. He did not like sitting there, so he said he felt lonely and left the room and went back to the other 2 guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the home race for Yuki Tsunoda, and he was actually looking quite good originally, and then. Yeah. And I think with oddly, I mean, Latifi actually scored points.
Yeah.
I was looking for my Latifi card and I can't find it, but he oddly scored points. And
it's just you got his face over top of it.
I did this man here actually scored points to tie, this man here. Who fortunately is actually officially going to be in AlphaTauri next seat in 2023. Yeah, he absolutely deserves that seat. And Pierre Gasly is going to be moving to Alpine. So it's going to be an all-French team officially.
Yeah, and I mean, that was the other big thing of the race. So there was a big incident when Sainz went off early on, and Pierre was trying to catch up to the pack that was under safety car. And for some reason, FIA brought out a tractor onto the track. So pretty scary moment for Pierre. And of course, the FIA tries to blame him, say he was speeding. But the reality is cars shouldn't be on track when there's a tractor on the track. It's just not safe under the wet conditions. So I think more to come on that discussion.
Considering 2014, similar conditions ended up in a fatality and on that very same track. So, but yeah.
Yep.
So why don't we start opening
Let's
packs,
open
and
some packs,
while we open packs, let's hopefully we get some cards that we can talk about associated to this race here, because it was a very interesting race. I mean, realistically, the best part about the race was I know Verstappen had like a 24 second lead.
The drive, yeah.
Yeah, the drive itself, it was huge, right? But yeah, it was.
Carlos Sainz crashed his car.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz. He was my turbo driver this weekend. I just lost so many points on that one. Lando Norris, I was surprised. It was interesting to see George Russell, after getting being behind Norris, like caught up to Norris, caught up to Latifi,
caught up to Alonso. He passed a lot of people. Norris for some reason couldn't catch Latifi, which was a little bit weird.
Yeah. And we have Vettel. Vettel was actually doing pretty well this race.
He's on his retirement track.
His world tour. He's like Elton John.
He's like Elton John on his world tour, saying goodbye to all the tracks.
Taruvula. Taruvula. I don't know. You guys all know how I feel about Taruvula. I think it was interesting. There's a I mean, I think if Mercedes can come up with a good car next season,
they got the reliable car. Now they just need the fast car.
I mean, they have the drivers too. I mean, Hamilton and Russell are fantastic. Christian, Mr. Ginger Spice. I'll keep calling him that if y'all okay with that. Mr. Ginger Spice himself. Yeah. Spicy. Sonoda.
It was funny in the stands during the qualifying. All these people are like Sonoda, and then as soon as he gets knocked down qualifying, their true colors come out, and they're all Ferrari and Red Bull and Mercedes. Yeah.
Usually it's very unanimous as to where when the drivers are racing, like who they're cheering for. Like you go to like the Netherlands and it's like all Verstappen. Yeah. All Verstappen all the time. McLaren, it's gonna be interesting next season. Looking forward to it. And Mercedes, that's interesting too. And Lando Norris.
Another Norris. Two Norrises in this pack.
Two Norrises in this pack. That's 100. That's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good defense there. So that's not bad. Let's get the next one back in. Yeah, let us know what you guys think about how the race. It was, like I said, it was really wet. Like, Charles Leclerc. Like, at one point, it looks like Leclerc just like, yeah, you know what, I'm contented with second. And
no, I think he was pushed too hard in the inters, and they were starting to wear, and they become slicks, and so he was losing traction. But he'd lose too many positions if he went in to switch tires, because he was asking about that. So.
Right, that's true. Green Arrow himself. Cordial. I actually don't know who this one is.
Interesting.
Vettel.
F3.
He's definitely going to be missed. Yeah, it was definitely F2. Vettel, he's going to be missed next season. Fernando Alonso. I think that was pretty funny. One scene where you had Sebastian Vettel and Schumi together, and they were talking to Alfa Romeo.
Yeah. Also funny with Alonso when you had Vettel, Alonso, and Hamilton all stacked up. So you had 3 world champions in a row.
That would have been that was awesome. Like, and they were like fighting. And freaking Alonso was awesome. He switched his tires, and everyone was like, "What? Why would he do that?" And yet he was still able to catch up to Vettel or past Russell.
Because the tires were all going, and he knew if he put new inters on, he'd have faster tires.
Alex Albon.
Just transmission problems. Not anything to do with his driving at all.
It just stopped. It was brutal. Yuki Tsunoda. I think there was one, at that part of the race too, when Sainz got knocked out, like Gasly drove past and he had this giant advertising.
That was Sainz knocked it onto the track, and that's why Gasly picked it up.
It looked like he was like, hey, I wonder what that advertising said. And he was trying to get a better look at it. Mick Schumacher. I don't think he's going to drive next season, but...
I don't know. I think that's why he was wandering all the different places. He was over in Alpine, too.
Yeah, he's just canvassing as will you guys hire me? Anyways, Dennis Hauger, he actually had a pretty good season in F2 this season.
Yeah, he did.
I think actually in the latter half of it, he was picking up in terms of the points. Yeah. And again, the Green Arrow himself, Valtteri Bottas.
It's funny. I think Schumacher, I said this before and I'll say it again, I think he should go to Indy and just have a different legacy than his dad.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, yeah.
He can drive. Listen, he can drive. He won F2, but he just needs to get out from under his dad's shadow.
I agree with you on that. Charles Leclerc off the track with Lando.
He didn't go off the track this week, so it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. So Schumi here was actually led the race for
Oh,
0.0023 of a second over Verstappen. And then, it's funny because Haas actually tweeted that out too. It was pretty good. Lance Stroll. I expected a lot more of him this year.
In the wet, he's normally good in the wet.
He's a very good wet rain driver. So, Roy Nassi. No F2 to see. I think F2 is almost. Actually, I think F2 is pretty much done, right?
Yeah, it's done. They only do the
Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, I think next few races are like, they do. And
no,
I think,
they won't be in any of the overseas races.
Yeah, there's no overseas races.
They already got the championship done.
Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, and Seb. That's a limited edition card.
That's nice.
Yeah. And Carlos Sainz. Poor Carlos.
He was just singing in the rain.
Sing in the rain.
For those who don't know, Carlos seems to sing a lot when he's in the car, so it's kind of a running joke.
And let's see, hopefully we get some Verstappen in here. That'd be pretty sick to get that.
On the day he wins the World Championship?
Exactly,
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be nice.
Oops.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
You do have a Verstappen.
There you go, right away.
So that's not too bad. It's a shiny card. I do have a light. Who's this guy? James Key for McLaren.
Yeah. Oh, what was the guy's name today on the...
Oh my God, there was a guy it was a Ferrari's chief engineer, and the guy's name is Jacques Clear. And apparently there was another guy, I think the team principal for Aston Martin was Mike Crack. Yeah, I'm a little kid. Hamilton, Bottas. That's a team. That's a good team.
For a while.
And lastly, we have a graffiti card. Oh, Giovinazzi, I think.
Still a chance he might get a seat. There's still a few seats up for grabs. So you never know.
Yeah, right now I think it's just the Williams and the Haas. Those are the two only seats left. We think Sargent's going to be getting the
possibly
the Williams seat. So who knows what's going to happen in the Haas? It could be Nico Hulkenberg, Ultra sub himself.
Well, I mean, technically, Ricardo hasn't said what he's doing. I know that Mercedes has offered him the reserve driver, but I mean, do you take a reserve driver? Or you go drive for a Haas or a Williams. I mean, who knows? Or does he go to Indy or NASCAR? I still think he'd be amazing in Indy or NASCAR.
Yeah, I think Ricardo would do fantastic.
He's also got the personality. Like, he's a big personality.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks everyone for joining us this week. Hope you enjoyed the races. That's
congratulations.
Congratulations to Max Verstappen. And we'll see you all in a few weeks at Texas in Austin.
Yep.
Have a great week.